Welcome back. Today we're diving into the world of rare British coins, specifically focusing on the 1 penny. The humble penny may seem ordinary, but some editions of this coin have shocked collectors and investors with their sky-high auction values. From Victorian rarities to early 20th century minting errors, these coins are treasures hiding in plain sight. We'll go through the top 7 most valuable United Kingdom 1 penny coins, explore their history, what makes them unique, their rarity, and of course, their current market value in dollars. So, if you've ever wondered whether that old penny in you collection might be worth a fortune, keep watching until the end. So let's get started. First up, we explore the hidden treasures and everyday pocket change and uncover the true value of 1967. At first glance, this coin might not look like much, especially if it's found in dirty or worn condition. But behind its humble appearance lies fascinating history, unique details, and, in rare cases, surprising value in the collector's market. So let's take a closer look and see why the 1967 penny is more than just an old piece of copper. The 1967 UK 1 penny holds a special place in British numismatic history. It was minted during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II right before the Great Shift to Decimalization in 1971. This coin was part of the pre-decimal system where 240 pennies made up single pound sterling. 1967 was a significant year because it was the final time the penny was minted in such large numbers as the government was preparing for the upcoming change to a decimal currency. Millions of these coins entered circulation, and for most people, they were just everyday change. However, for collectors today, the 1967 penny represents the closing chapter of a monetary era that lasted for centuries. The design of the 1967 1 penny is truly classic. On the obverse, you'll find the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth I, designed by Mary Gillick, with the simple inscription Elizabeth II, Gracia Regina F.D. Around the edges, the lettering proudly frames the Queen's youthful image. On the reverse, the iconic seated Britannia is depicted holding a trident and shield, a design that had appeared on British pennies since 1797. The coin is made from bronze with a weight of 9.45 grams and a diameter of 30.88 meters, giving it a solid feel compared to modern coins. Even in dirty or circulated condition, the detail of Britannia and the Queen's portrait often remains visible, adding charm to the piece. Now, when it comes to rarity, the 1967 penny might surprise you. With a massive mintage of over 650 million coins, it's not considered rare in general terms. Many households still have jars of these coins tucked away. However, what makes them desirable to collectors is their historical importance as the last year of the pre-decimal penny struck for circulation. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny, coin from 1940. At first glance, this coin may look like just another old penny, but in reality, it carries remarkable history, rarity, and collector value. In fine condition, this piece of British currency has become an attractive find in the world of numismatics, with prices at option reaching impressive levels in dollars. If you're curious about how much your 1940 penny could be worth, then stay tuned. The 1 penny coin of 1940 belongs to the reign of King George V, who ruled from 1936 to 1952. During this period, the United Kingdom was in the middle of World War I. Despite the chaos, the Royal Mint continued producing coins for circulation to support the nation's economy. The penny was an essential coin in everyday trade, but wartime production and melee usage made certain mintages more desirable. Millions were struck, but due to circulation, most examples today are heavily worn, making a fine condition 1940 penny increasingly hard to find. The 1941 penny features the classic portrait of King George VI on the obverse, designed by Humphrey Padet. His portrait is surrounded by the Latin inscription George's 6D GBBR, laughing face ID, meaning George V. by the grace of God, King of all the Britain's defender of the faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse side, we see the iconic image of Britannia seated holding a trident and shield symbolizing the strength of the British Empire. The 1940 is struck clearly below, The coin is made of bronze, weighs about 944 G, and measures 30.8 in diameter. These traditional features combined with wartime context make it a special piece of history. Now, you might wonder, why is the 1941 penny rare if millions were minted? The answer lies in survival and condition. While many were struck, most veer heavily circulated during and after the war. Coins in fine or better condition are much less common today. Collectors highly value coins that show minimal wear with clear portrait and Britannia details still intact. Furthermore, as part of the King George 56 series, the 1940 penny has gained significant attention from British and international coin collectors. Its connection to the wartime era adds another layer of demand, especially among history enthusiasts. So, how much is a 1941 penny worth in fine condition? While average circulated, examples may only fetch a few dollars. Fine condition coins can reach anywhere in today's market. Exceptional coins, graded higher than fine, such as very fine or extremely fine, can climb well over $150,000 at auction. In some cases, rare estate examples have reached several thousand depending on the demand at the time of sale. This shows how a coin that once had little spending power now carries significant numismatic value in dollars. If you own or are searching for a 1941 penny, there are some depending on where you buy or sell. Finally, remember that patience pays off, holding on to a fine condition 1940. Next up, the United Kingdom 1 penny from 1920. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old coin, but in reality, it holds immense historical value and can be worth a surprising amount in today's option market. Especially rare are those pieces that appear in a golden shade, even in warm condition. Let's explore why this coin is so special and why collectors are always on the lookout. 4.it. The 1921 penny belongs to the reign of King George V, who is the grandfather of Queen Elizabeth II. During this time, Britain was recovering from the aftermath of World War I, and the economy was slowly stabilizing. In 1920, a significant change took place in British coinage. The Royal Mint switched the metal composition of pennies. Before 1920, pennies were struck in 95% copper, but from 1920 onwards they were made of 95% bronze alloy, copper, tin, and zinc. This transition makes the 1920 penny especially interesting because it presents the very beginning of the modern Bronze era in British coinage. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of King George V, designed by Bertram McKinnell with the Latin inscription Georges Vide Deja, Brit Omn Rex Fi Def LD, which translates to George V by the grace of God, King of all the Britain, defender of the faith, Emperor of India. On the reverse, we see Britannia, the female personification of Britain, seated, with a trident in one hand and a shield in the other, symbolizing strength and protection. The denomination 1 penny is clearly marked along with the date at the bottom. Now, what makes some 1920 pennies even more remarkable is their golden bronze shade. Over time, certain coins have developed this distinct golden tone due to metal variations and natural aging. While most pennies look dark brown or coppery, these golden shade examples stand out, making them particularly desirable to collectors. Although millions of 1920 pennies were minted, finding one in golden shade, even in warm condition, is quite rare. Most coins from that year have tarnished or turned dull with age. When a coin exhibits this golden shine, it signals unique chemical reactions in the metal or specific storage conditions. Collectors prize such unusual tones because they add a touch of uniqueness to an otherwise common coin. Furthermore, since 1920 was a transitional year in British coinage, coins from this date are always in higher demand compared to later George V issues. So, what is a 1921 penny worth? Today, in heavily circulated and worn condition, most standard 1920 pennies might fetch only $125,000. However, those with a distinct golden shade, even when worn, can sell for much more. Depending on the appeal and rarity of the tone, they can achieve prices ranging from $136,000 at auctions. Exceptional pieces in higher grades or with stronger golden dot coloration have been known to reach $265,000.
LC Coin World, where we take a journey through history, one coin And one note at a time today, we are going to dive deep into the history, the design, the symbolism, and the cultural impact of one of the most recognized banknotes in circulation today, the 2015 $100 bill. Known commonly as the Benjamin, because of the famous portrait of Benjamin Franklin that graces its front. To tell its full story, we must go beyond just paper and ink and look into the history of American currency, the evolution of security features, the fight against counterfeiting, and the global role that this banknote plays in the modern financial system. The story of the $100 bill is rooted in the earliest days of the United States currency. The United States first issued paper money during the Revolutionary War as the Continental Congress sought to fund the war effort, but it was not until the establishment of the U.S. Treasury and later the Bureau of Engraving and Printing that the country began to develop a standardized, reliable paper currency. The $100 bill quickly became one of the highest denominations issued, and over time it developed a reputation for power, prestige, and security. By 2015, the $100 bill had become not just a piece of American money, but a global symbol of economic strength. Its circulation extended far beyond the borders of the United States. It is estimated that more than 2/3 of all $100 bills are held outside of the country, making it a kind of unofficial international currency used in global trade savings and even underground economies. The design of the 2015 $100 bill reflects centuries of innovation and artistry. At the front, the centerpiece is Benjamin Franklin, one of the most influential founding fathers. Franklin was chosen not because he was a president, but because he represented intellect, diplomacy, innovation, and leadership, qualities that the United States wanted to associate with its highest circulating note. Franklin was a printer himself, and the inclusion of his image on a note is a nod to the craftsmanship of printing and publishing that underlies American history. Behind Franklin, you see the subtle blue security ribbon woven into the note, a three-dimensional thread that shifts when you tilt the bill, making it one of the most advanced anti-counterfeiting features ever produced. The back of the bill shows Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the site where both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated and signed. This imagery ties the $100 bill directly to the birth of American democracy and the enduring values of freedom and unity. The clock tower on Independence Hall is set to 30, the time thought to reflect the hour when the Declaration of Independence was first publicly read. This detail, though small, reinforces the symbolic weight carried by the note. The back of the bill shows Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the site where both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated and signed. This imagery ties the $100 bill directly to the birth of American democracy and the enduring values of freedom and unity. The clock tower on Independence Hall is set to 30, the time thought to reflect the hour when the Declaration of Independence was first publicly read. This detail, though small, reinforces the symbolic weight carried by the note. Security has always been at the center of the $100 bill story, and by 2015, the challenges of counterfeiting had grown. Worldwide criminal organizations, sophisticated technology, and easy access to advanced printers meant that counterfeit money had become a global threat. The U.S. responded with innovations layered into the bill. Beyond the blue security ribbon, there is a color-shifting ink in the Liberty Bell inkwell image, which turns from copper to green when the note is tilted, a watermark of Franklin visible when held to the light, a security thread that glows pink under ultraviolet light, and raised printing that can be felt by touch. All of these details combine to make the 2015 $100 bill one of the most secure banknotes in the world. The cultural meaning of the $100 bill also runs deep. It is not just a piece of money, it is a cultural icon. The image of stacks of Benjamins is found in music, films, advertisements, and pop culture around the globe. For many, the note is associated with wealth, power, and aspiration. Yet beneath this surface meaning is also the practical reality that the $100 bill is a preferred note for saving and storing value, not just in America, but in countries where inflation and political instability make local currencies less reliable. In such places, the $100 bill becomes a lifeline, a trusted store of value that people can depend on. In telling the story of the 2015 $100 bill. We also must reflect on the history of American currency as a whole, from the early silver certificates to the Federal Reserve notes of today. Each redesign has responded to changing needs of security, technology, and trust. The 2015 bill represents the culmination of decades of effort by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, working with scientists, artists, and law enforcement agencies to create a note that is both functional and beautiful. As we move forward into the 21st century, the future of paper currency itself is a subject of debate, with digital payments, mobile wallets, and cryptocurrencies growing some wonder whether the paper $100 bill will survive. Yet for now, it remains not only essential to global commerce, but also a physical reminder of the values and history that built the United States. Every fold, every crease, every transaction it has been part of represents a story of exchange between